I didn't expect to feel anything that day. I was only there because my ex had called, her voice weak, asking if I could drop off some documents she needed for insurance. No drama. No memories. Just a quick visit and out. Hospitals have a way of draining emotion from you. The smell, the silence, the slow beeping machines. I signed in, kept my head down, and waited near the nurse's station, scrolling my phone like I didn't care. Then I heard her voice. Soft, calm, not rushed like the others. "Mr. Adams? You can come this way." I looked up, and for a split second, everything else disappeared. She wasn't trying to be beautiful. No heavy makeup. No forced smile. Just kind eyes, tied back hair, and a presence that felt warm. Real. The kind of person who made you feel less alone just by standing nearby. She walked me down the hallway, explaining routine things about visiting hours, her voice steady and reassuring. I nodded, pretending to listen, but my heart was doing something stupid, something I hadn't felt in a long time. Connection, not attraction, not desire, recognition, like my soul had quietly said, "Oh, there you are." At the room door, she paused. "She's resting right now," she said gently. "You can leave the papers with me if you want." I handed them over, our fingers brushing for half a second. It was nothing, and somehow, everything. She smiled. Not the professional kind. The real one. The kind that reaches the eyes. "Thank you for bringing these," she said. "Most people wouldn't." I shrugged. It was the right thing. She studied me for a moment, like she saw something I hadn't said out loud. Then she nodded, quietly impressed. As I turned to leave, I felt it. That strange pull, the urge to look back. I didn't. I walked out of the hospital telling myself it meant nothing. Just a nurse doing her job. Just a random moment in a long, complicated life. But the truth followed me all the way home. For the first time since my breakup, I didn't feel empty. And I had no idea that brief encounter would change everything. I tried to forget her. That night, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, replaying small details I had no reason to remember. The way she lowered her voice near patients' rooms, the slight pause before she smiled, the calm confidence in her steps. I told myself it was just exhaustion, just loneliness playing tricks on my mind. The next morning, my phone buzzed. It was my ex. She needed one more form. Apparently, something had gone missing from the file. She apologized, said she knew it was inconvenient, said she understood if I didn't want to come back. I didn't answer right away. I told myself I was annoyed, that I was only going back to finish what I'd started. Nothing more. But deep down, I knew. When I reached the hospital again, I felt it immediately, that same quiet pull. My eyes scanned the nurse's station before my brain could stop them. She was there, talking to an elderly man, kneeling slightly so she was at eye level, listening like his words mattered. When she noticed me, her expression changed. Not surprise, not obligation. Recognition. She stood up. "You're back," she said almost softly. "Looks like it," I replied, holding up the folder. "Paperwork never knows when to quit." She smiled, this time a little wider. "Tell me about it." As she checked the documents, there was a comfortable silence between us. Not awkward, not forced, the kind that doesn't rush to be filled. "You didn't have to come yourself," she said. "You could have emailed these." "I know," I said. Then, honest without planning to be, I wanted to make sure they got where they needed to go. She looked at me for a second longer than necessary. "Thank you," she said. "That says a lot." Before handing the papers back, she hesitated. "She's doing a little better today," she added, careful, respectful. "Still tired, but stable." I nodded, appreciating that she'd thought to tell me. As I turned to leave again, she cleared her throat. If you're not in a hurry. The cafe downstairs makes terrible coffee, but it's warm. It wasn't a question. My heart kicked once, hard. I've had worse, I said. We walked side by side toward the elevator. Not touching, not rushing. Just two people sharing a moment that felt strangely important. And somewhere between the second floor and the ground, I realized this wasn't just coincidence anymore. Something had started. And neither of us was pretending not to feel it. The cafe smelled like burnt coffee and old magazines, just like she'd warned. We stood in line, shoulder to shoulder, pretending this was casual. Like two strangers who just happened to walk in together. She ordered first. Black coffee. No sugar. Brave choice, I said. She laughed. A soft sound that felt dangerously familiar. Long shifts. You stop caring after a while. We sat near the window, the kind of small round table that forced you to sit closer than planned. Outside, the city moved fast. Inside, time slowed down. So, she said, wrapping her hands around the cup. You come here often? I smiled. First time. Hopefully last. She raised an eyebrow. Rough history with hospitals? Rough endings, I said before I could stop myself. She didn't push, didn't pry, just nodded like she understood more than I'd said. That's okay, she replied. Some people walk in already broken. Others leave that way. The honesty caught me off guard. I'm Lily, she said after a pause. I told her my name. Saying it out loud to her felt oddly important. We talked in pieces, about her night shifts, about how silence at 3 a.m. can be louder than noise, about how people reveal their true selves when they're scared. I told her about work, about how life looks fine on the outside but feels unfinished on the inside. She listened, really listened, not waiting to respond, just present. Then her phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen and sighed. I have to go. Duty calls. I stood too, disappointed more than I expected to be. Before turning away, she hesitated. Hey, this might be unprofessional, she said carefully, but if you ever need coffee that doesn't taste like regret. She pulled out a pen, wrote something on a napkin, and slid it toward me. Her number. My chest tightened. I'd like that, I said. She smiled, that same real smile, then walked back toward the elevators without looking back. I sat there for a moment, staring at the napkin in my hand, feeling something I hadn't allowed myself to feel in a long time. Hope. And for the first time, I wasn't afraid of it that I didn't text her right away. The napkin stayed in my pocket all day, like a secret I wasn't ready to touch. I kept pulling it out, smoothing the creases, then putting it back like it might disappear if I looked too long. That night, I finally sent a simple message. Coffee that doesn't taste like regret. Still standing by that. The reply came faster than I expected. Absolutely. Tomorrow evening. I get off at 6. I stared at the screen, smiling like an idiot. The cafe she chose wasn't fancy. Warm lights, quiet music, the kind of place where conversations feel safe. She arrived in jeans and a soft sweater, hair loose this time, no uniform, no badge. Just her. For a moment, I didn't recognize her. Then she smiled, and it was the same. We talked for hours. Not about my ex. Not about patience or past mistakes. About childhood memories, favorite foods, the strange comfort of late-night drives. She told me why she became a nurse. Not the heroic version, but the honest one. I told her about the day I realized love can end without warning. At one point, she went quiet. You know, she said, eyes steady on mine. I'm not great at half things, half truths, half feelings. I nodded. Neither am I. The words hung there, heavy and clear. When we stood to leave, the air between us felt charged. Outside, the street was quiet. She stopped walking. I should probably go, she said, but didn't move. Yeah, I said, also not moving. For a second, I thought she might step closer. Instead, she reached out and squeezed my hand. Firm, certain. Take things slow, she said. But don't disappear. I won't, I promised. As she walked away, I realized something that both scared and excited me. This wasn't a distraction. This was the beginning of something real.